You see these beautiful people? They look happy, don't they? Now, a normal person would look at these people and they might feel happy themselves. They might feel a sense of happiness at looking at all these beautiful faces. But when I look at these people, I feel sad. I feel sad because I know what's going to happen to them. I know what could happen to them if we don't cure aging. See, I look at these people and I see their future. Their future, each of them is just going to be a tombstone. Each of them is going to be dead in the future. They're going to be dead. They're going to be underground in the dirt, you know, being eaten by worms, or they're going to be cremated. Or maybe they signed up for cryonics, right? But that's very few people. But my point is, I look at these people and I see beautiful people. Each of them is a person, a human being with a whole life. They have experiences and they have a whole history and they have friendships and families. And to me, it is very sad that they're gonna go through life, they're gonna get very old, they're gonna succumb to the diseases of aging, and then they're all gonna die. Unless we cure aging. You see, their future is not set in stone. Now, most people in the world think that their future is set in stone. They think that death is inevitable. They think there's nothing we can do to defeat and conquer death. You know, we've all heard the saying, death and taxes, right? Oh, death and taxes, they're two inevitable things. It's a lie. Now, how can I be so confident in saying that it is a lie? Well, it's simply because nobody knows the future. Nobody knows. So anyone who pretends to know the future, they're not being logical. Anyone who says that they know for sure that everyone is going to die, I'm talking like physical death here. Those people are not being logical. How do they know? How do they know the future? How do they know that science is not going to come along with a cure for aging? Some technological, medical solution to halt aging and possibly even reverse aging. There are scientists working on that right now. And a lot of experts think this is going to happen. They think it's inevitable that it's going to happen. Science is eventually going to cure aging. It's just a matter of when. When will this happen? Will it happen in time for the people who are alive right now? Many scientists and experts think that it will. But what's really sad is that every day, until that happens, every day that passes by, 100,000 people, human beings, are being destroyed. They're dying from age-related disease. Over 100,000 people. This is a tragedy. Everyone should be angry about this. These are people that could be saved if we just cured aging faster. And what's the biggest reason why we're not curing aging faster? It's because it's not getting enough funding. It's not getting enough donations, and the governments of the world are not funding this research, funding this anti-aging research. We need to change this. We need to say, hey, look, we don't want to die. We don't want to lose our life. Isn't life precious? Isn't life something that we should want to protect? And why is aging an exception to the rule that death is a bad thing, right? We look both ways before we cross the street because we don't want to die, you know? We do all kinds of things every day because we don't want to die. Now, why is aging an exception to that? It doesn't seem like it should be. Aging kills people. You know, just because you've been alive a long time doesn't mean you don't want to live longer. Many very old people, many centenarians, wish they could live longer, wish they could keep on living because they enjoy life. They enjoy the experiences of life. And here's where it gets really sad. These people, if any of them die and cease to exist, they're going to miss out on thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, millions of years of potential life they could have lived. So each life that gets destroyed, each old person that gets destroyed, it's not just losing 100 years of life, it's losing a potential life that could have lived indefinitely. Now that is a tragedy. Human lives are at stake here. And aging, we can cure it. It is possible. And so many people are still thinking that this is impossible, but they need to update with the times. Even Google Calico. The company Google has come out with a company called Google Calico, this company is trying to defeat death. There was a Time magazine article that said, can Google cure death? Google is trying to fight death and extend lifespan. We could possibly live indefinitely. Now that's good news. That's something to be excited about. That's something to tell your friends about. And this is a reason, and we should all have, we all have friends and family. We don't want to die. We don't want our parents to die. You know, think about your parents right now. They're going to get older and more decrepit. They might lose their mind. They might get dementia, Alzheimer's disease. These things are very sad. And we could prevent this if we just had enough funding, if we just had enough awareness for this cause. And think about yourself. Think about yourself in the future. You see, most people, their problem is they don't have foresight. They're not thinking enough about the future. You know, we hear this message nowadays, be in the present, right? We hear New Age people say, be in the present moment. You know, don't focus on the future. I think we should be focusing on the future because the future is where we're going to be one day. The future is going to be the present. And so if we're not thinking about the future, we could run into a lot of problems. Think about where you're going to be 60 years from now. You might be either dead or suffering some horrible, debilitating disease caused by aging. So if you want to prevent that for yourself, you got to think ahead. It's the Boy Scouts motto, right? Be prepared. So we got to prepare for the future and try to prevent aging. Because none of us wants to suffer a horrible death from aging. I mean, don't we love life? Don't we want to keep on existing? And you could possibly even live forever. That's right. That's right. You could possibly live forever. Now, here's how I can say that. If scientists cure aging first, then nothing is stopping us from living forever other than accidents to our body. You know, if we could hurt ourselves, we could do something stupid and kill ourselves. And then there's existential threats such as asteroids hitting the planet, earthquakes, natural disasters, viral pandemics, all kinds of things like that. Dangers that we face. Now, science is always advancing. Science is always coming out with new solutions to problems. They're going to have self-driving cars. That's going to take care. That's going to prevent a lot of deaths by car accidents. That's coming in the future. Relatively shortly. That's going to be here. And so there's just going to be more and more advancements like that in science. And nothing is stopping us from living forever if we could just come out with new solutions for all of these health dangers that we could face. But aging is the first one, because aging is like a wall that we're all going to run into. You seen those crash dummy commercials where the crash dummy cars hit the wall and it's that's us if we don't cure aging. We're in a lot of trouble. And we need to admit the trouble that we're in. You know, in order to solve the problem, you need to first admit that there is a problem. And you need to not underestimate the problem. So, everyone, people of the world, we have a big problem on our hands. It's aging. Aging and involuntary death. Key word, involuntary. Isn't it sad that people have to die involuntarily? Shouldn't people get to decide when they want to die, or if at all they want to die? Shouldn't people be allowed to live? Like, just because you're an old person, why shouldn't old people get to keep on living if that's what they want? Don't you think that's the fair, ethical thing to do? If we could actually prevent aging, don't you think we should do that? Because imagine if you were on your deathbed. You know, it's always good to put yourself in someone else's shoes. Do unto others, right? If you were, say, 90 years old on your deathbed, you've been damaged, you've been ravaged by aging, but you still wanted to live, you know? Don't you think we should give them that opportunity? How would you like it if you were forced to die? You know? And for all we know, these people who die are permanently destroyed. You might believe in an afterlife, but you have to admit to yourself, if you're being an honest person, you have to admit yourself that you don't actually know that there's an afterlife, do you? No, you don't. No, you don't. Because no one knows what happens after you die. Any honest, logical person would admit that. If you don't admit that, if you think you know what happens after you die, I think you need to rethink your philosophy, because you can't actually know that. Okay, you have a belief about that, but let's face it, you don't know. Okay, so be honest, admit that you don't know, and because you don't know that there's an afterlife, shouldn't you be trying to help cure aging? Shouldn't you be trying to live forever physically? Because this life is the only life that we know exists, right? When your brain dies, you might cease to exist forever. How does that sound? You're going to miss out on a lot of fun if you cease to exist forever. That doesn't sound like a good idea to me. I want to stay alive here. I want to stay alive in this physical world, the only world I know exists. And I think, and I hope whoever you are, that you think that you also want to stay alive, because life is good. And when you're alive, there's opportunity. But when you're dead, there's nothing. And that really sucks. It's a tragedy, isn't it? That people have to die and cease to exist. And all these beautiful people right here, that one day they're going to die. Didn't matter if they were rich or poor, if they were a humanitarian, whatever they did. Human beings, we're all in the same boat here. We're all on a sinking ship. And that sinking ship is called aging, an involuntary death. And it's a sad thing, and I think it needs to end. It needs to end, and I'm not alone. There's a big movement now of people that want to cure aging. This should be our top priority, because if you want to be a humanitarian, aren't we all trying to make the world a better place? Well, what better way to make the world a better place than to help cure aging? Because aging causes more suffering and involuntary death than any other cause combined. It's the biggest cause of suffering and death on the planet. And it needs to end. So if you want to help end aging, then here's some things you can do. First of all, I would recommend to check out SENS Foundation, sens.org. This is the top anti-aging organization. This is led by Aubrey de Grey. He's the Chief Science Officer of SENS Foundation. He's been doing lectures all around the world. They're all on YouTube. You should check him out. Click this video right here to check out Aubrey de Grey's videos. And here's the link to SENS Foundation. Okay, so please donate if you can. Donate whatever you can, because everything makes a difference. Every day that we can bring forward the cure for aging, if we can bring that cure one day earlier, that's 100,000 lives that you've saved, that you've helped save. That's something special. Another thing you can do is you can check out the links in the description. These are some links to some Facebook pages about anti-aging. You should really check them out. And another thing you could do is support the Transhumanist Party. Okay, there's a guy named ZOLTAN ISTVAN. He's running for president. He's a transhumanist, and this is something I highly support, because what he wants to do is he wants to direct more money from the government into anti-aging research. I think that's so important, because I don't think the government is spending enough money on science and technology. Science and technology improves our lives, right? Our lives are so much better now because of science and technology. We've already pretty much doubled the human lifespan in the last 100 years or the last 150 years. That's pretty amazing, and that can keep on happening. But we need to invest that money into science and technology, because it's going to improve lives and, most importantly, save lives. So check out the Transhumanist Party, and also the links right here for the Transhumanist Party. And another thing you can do is support this book called Death is Wrong. Okay? This is a children's book that was written by Gennady Sterilov. Now this book, and it was illustrated by Wendy Sterilov, and this book is so awesome. I cannot recommend this book enough. And every child should read this book, because this book teaches you all about life extension. It tells kids that they can potentially live indefinitely. Now that's an inspirational message to be telling children, rather than what most people tell their children, which is that you have to die one day. Let's stop that. Let's stop telling our children that they have to die one day. Don't pretend to know the future of your children. Okay? Living indefinitely is possible. So, you can get this book. You can order it on Amazon. It's a little flat paperback book, or you get the Kindle edition. I just give that to kids. That's something you can do to help right now. Give that book to kids, and support the Transhumanist Party. Donate to SENS Foundation. Thank you very much. My name is Rowan Horn. I'm the founder of the Eternal Life Fan Club, and you should join the fan club. It's just a blog, and we talk about eternal life, and we want to live forever. If you're an Eternal Life fan, this is the club for you to check out. Thank you very much. Hope you live forever.